All right, what's going on, guys? So in this video, we're gonna go over how to set up your KTuner, whether you bought it used, new, the process of doing it, some things you gotta look out for when you buy the KTuner, if you buy it used, and the different styles of tunes that you can get to upload to your car. We'll also go over some of the site, as well as how to operate the KTuner app. It's a download you have to do. And then we'll also go into some driving. We'll do some pulls, some spirited driving, nothing too crazy, and then we'll roll into some night driving. So it's gonna be a rather long video, but I'll knock out all the KTuner portion first, and then I'll add bookmarks that you can skip ahead to whatever you want. And the night driving is just for fun. I live in the DFW area, so it's pretty cool to drive around here at night. There's a lot less traffic, and then we won't be doing anything crazy out there, but just having a little fun and seeing how the car does, monitored. I've only had it in the car for about 24 hours now, so it'll just be a little fun part to add into the video. But without further ado, let's jump into KTuner and when you're buying it new or used. All right, so for the first step is when you're buying this, right? So for me, I always look for deals. So I bought mine on Facebook Marketplace, and I paid $400 for this. And important thing to know about this is the KTuner, the actual tuner itself, is a universal product, okay? So you could buy a KTuner from anywhere. As long as it's got an OBD2 port, it's pretty much a universal product. What's not universal is the tunes. The tunes will be something that you have to upload based on your car. An important aspect of buying this used is that you need to make sure that it is not locked to the car that it was last on. So anytime you have a KTuner, it's made for one car at a time, right? So you can't put a tune on this car and then walk over and put a tune on your buddy's car. It doesn't work like that. So KTuner, the first thing you'll do when you're buying it used is you would check and make sure it's unlocked. And the easy way to do that is you can take it and just plug it into your OBD2 port, because it's not going to do anything unless you tell it to. So if you're plugging it into the OBD2 port, it's just basically going to show all the readings of your car, whatever you have, whatever it's set for already. And it's not going to upload a tune or try and mess with your computer or anything like that. So it basically, first thing you do when you plug it in is it'll say, do you want to lock this to this car? If it says that, that means that the product is unlocked, right? And then it's okay to buy it. There's also, when you turn this thing on, you give it power, which is powered two separate ways. You can either power it via USB port, or the bottom one, which is the longer cord, that is going to be your OBD2 port. So when you buy this and you find out it's not locked, then it's safe to buy this, because if it is locked, according to KTuner, there's no way to unlock it unless the other person has a car and they unlock it from the car, and that has to be plugged into their car to unlock it. So purchasing used, be aware, be careful that you do need to make sure it's unlocked, or you'll be wasting your money. If you're buying new, you're not going to have any issues with this. But an important aspect of buying this new is to make sure that it's compatible with your car, right? So right now I have KTuner pulled up. This is their website. And so for my car, right, it's a 2020 Civic, so 2016 plus Civic 1.5 turbo. It is a CVT, and it says it works for turbo CVT and manual transmission. And then you scroll down, so not all ECUs are supported, and that goes for Europe, Canada, United States, the whole nine. So on this list, this is the part numbers for usable ECUs, right? And there's a ton. I mean, 2016 plus, manual transmission, CVT, and it has all the part numbers for the cars here, right? And it even moves down into international, but you want to make sure that your car is actually able to accept the KTuner flashes, because that's another way that you'll waste $650 or however much you bought it for used by not making sure that it fits your car. So I did verify that, and I made sure it was good. Obviously, I'm running it. It's already uploaded. But with that, you just want to double check and make sure that it's going to be good. A brand new KTuner, the average cost right now is $649. And some companies like TSP and Variable, you can buy the KTuner and they'll include a custom tune from them. So the two-step performance has their own version of stage one, because the KTuner tunes are pretty just standard generic tunes. They're good tunes and they make a big difference, but TSP and Variable have done dyno testing and all kinds of tests of their car with certain modifications added, and they can tell you specific dyno numbers for even like a CVT. They have videos of the CVT being dynoed. So when you buy your KTuner, say you bought it off two-step performance and you didn't want the custom tune, you just got it based, regardless, either way, your KTuner is going to come in a box that's labeled KTuner, and it's not going to have any of your stuff on it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually go to downloads. So KTuner actually has a link and they have their own instructions. You can use a Mac, but you got to have like a backdoor to run Windows on there. For me, it's not an issue. I'm using Windows, but I have seen people use Macs and do everything they need to do. But this is the first step. So once you download this, you are downloading the drivers and the software to have the KTune software on your computer, and it's actually downloaded. So once you have that downloaded, then you can move on to the next step. So from here, after you have it downloaded, you're gonna have to lock the KTuner to your car. And either one of these can be the first step, because you're not gonna be able to link the two together. So the KTuner app, you actually won't be able to link it together unless it's locked to your car. So mine is obviously signed in, and that's because I had it locked to the car, and then I downloaded all the programs and I linked it up. So once you do that, it's gonna actually want you to register, right? And when you register this, it's basically gonna sign you up. You're gonna have your own account that you use to log in. And every time you log in, you'll have to either update or register to log in. If you already have an account, a KTuner account, like once you've done it the first time, you'll just click update and it logs you in. And then you press close, and then the KTuner app will pull up. From there, you'll go inside of your KTuner, which looks like this. It might not look like this first, because this is actually what it looks like with a tune on it. And right now, this is just stage one tune. The car is idling, so there's nothing too crazy going on right here. But you'll want to go to File, New Tune, and then what should happen in here when it's locked to your car, and right now the car's, I have the OBD2 port plugged in and I have a cable running to my laptop. And your car needs to be off. The accessory mode is going to be on, but your car's not going to be running. It's running for the purposes of this video, but you'll want to have it in accessory mode so it's powering. And this is a good way to do it, in my opinion, because this takes a lot of battery when you start uploading tune. So if your battery is weak in your car, like, they recommend having a battery charger hooked up while you're doing this, because it will drain your battery. So for me, what I did was I have it ran to the laptop and it's ran off the car. So basically both things are powering the KTuner, and that's also how you link it to your computer as well. So as you can see, I have my car in here right now, right? This is the range for my car. If I click this, I click plus and then factory CVT and then click next, this is going to show you all the standard tunes on here, right? So you have your factory base calibration, which once you hook this up and you start running this, it's automatically it's going to want to download your factory tune from Honda, which is a good thing, because if you ever want to get rid of this, your car, or sell anything, or you're just going to get rid of KTuner, you're going to go to Honda and you want to flash it back to stock, you'll have your factory base calibration already set. So from there, you have your stage 0, 1, 2, your starter 16.5, your starter 18 PSI, your starter 21 PSI, and your dual target 21 PSI. So, and it has a nice little description, as you can see right here, for each single one. But a lot of these, once you go to stage 1 and up, you're talking 91 octane, when you're getting gas. So you need to make sure that's readily available. Like in Texas, we have 93 everywhere, so that's not an issue. But with a lot of these tunes, they just recommend that you have at least a minimum of 91 octane. And like I said, these are base stages. The first three, the 0, 1, and 2, are actually like locked tunes. So there's not a lot you can change in these things. So basically what you would do is you would click on the tune that you wanted. So say it was stage 2, and then from there you would click next. After that, it would pop over to this screen, and you could click this arrow right here, the up arrow, and that's how you push the tune from your laptop, the KTuner program, to your actual KTuner up here. And you can store 5 tunes on this at one time. So for me, I only have 3 right now. I have the factory 1, or sorry, I have 4. I have factory 0, 1, and 2. And that's all I need, because I know myself, I know the way I am. I'll want to keep going and want to add more power, and I don't want to end up doing that when I'm playing around with the car, especially once I take it to the track and we start doing dynos and all the other stuff when I get more modifications done. So for me, when I initially did it, I did 0 and 1, and the stage 1 is what I stuck with right now. That's what I'm running. Stage 0 was improved throttle and stuff like that, but it just wasn't what I wanted. I wanted stage 1, and then eventually I'll probably go with the 2-step performance stage 1, just because there's a little more variables to that, and there's a little more tuning into it. Like I said, the KTuner ones are very good, but they're basically base tunes. So we'll go back in here and we'll talk about the rest. So for your starters, your 16.5, your 18, and your 21, there's actually a little more stuff you can change in here. So if you uploaded one of those and you're in it, before you upload it to your KTuner, you can go to parameters over here on the side, and you can disable certain things. Like some of these are locked, right? So like the quick boost by gear, the fan control, like a lot of these are pretty much set, right? They're custom boost tune. There's a lot of stuff you can change in here. Your fan control, what temperature you want it to come on, and then there's a lot of calibration settings in here. But some of the stuff is actually locked in here. So you can't change a lot of stuff because they have locked it down so it's a safer tune. And another great aspect about this is KTuner, they made a lot of stuff dummy proof on here, right? So when I say that, I want to say that in a way that they made it to where you can't really mess up your car. So when you're doing stuff, say you're uploading a tune on here, right? And then, let's see, let's go back. And you click flash, right? Once you hit that, it's gonna say, hey, do you still wanna do this? Do you wanna erase your computer and upload a new one? And then you'll have to actually physically click yes. And then if it's not already calibrated and set, you don't have the right thing on there, it's gonna stop you and it's not gonna let you proceed. So there's a lot of features on this that make this relatively safe. All right, so once you're at the point where you're ready to actually upload the tune from your KTuner to your car, I'll do a quick video and show you what it looks like. I did it where it was erasing the ECU, and then also when it's uploaded and all the way to where it's complete. But it looks like a Christmas tree. And I did this the day I started uploading stuff. Every single light on your dash will go off. It'll throw every single warning possible in this car. And it kind of scares you a little bit because you're like, holy crap. Hopefully this is not messing anything up. But it's a very, very safe tune. Oh, and back to the KTuner real quick. See, in the bottom right here it says locked. That pretty much says that it's locked to this car. And I probably should have added that in the very beginning, because a second way of verifying that is typically you have to go to the second screen, which is the gauges, the flash, and the errors, and that tells you whether it's locked. So, like I said, I'll switch over to the videos that show deleting the ECU and what it looks like here, and then also the videos of it uploading the stage 1 tune to the car. All right, so currently flashing the ECU on the car to stage 1. because as you can see, it takes time. You want to make sure your battery is good when you're doing this. And I bought this used, this KTuner, so I had to set it up from scratch. I made sure it was unlocked. It's probably the most important thing if you're buying a used one, is to make sure it's unlocked. But as you see, it takes time to upload the new tune. So once it's complete, or once we get through this, where it's at 35% right now, we'll click back on and I'll show you what it says to do. So it says the flash was successful. Click OK to continue. So we click OK. Key vehicle off. Key vehicle on, which is press it twice. All right, so now it should be good to go. As you can see, there's still lights all over the place, but we'll start it up and we'll make sure everything is good. All right, so now you've seen the videos of what it looks like when it's uploading the tune and erasing your factory ECU. Then you have where you have to set up the KTuner. You don't have to do it because the tuner is already in. An important note is that you don't actually need this in there in your car anymore at that point. This is more to monitor everything and when you're uploading and changing tunes. But if you're content with stage 1, stage 2, whatever, or your custom tune that you have in there, you can by all means take this out and not run it. Because for a lot of people that don't know about the KTuner, if someone was looking to break in your car because they see you have a KTuner, they may not know that when they steal this, they're basically stealing a locked product that's going to be useless to them. But yeah, once you get it all set up, then you're playing around with it to get your gauges set up. So for me, I have mine set up like this for now. And that's because this is very, very minimal playing with this thing. But these are the 4 that I've chose to add and monitor, and that might change in the future. As I start like doing more and more to the car, I might want different gauges on here. But there's a lot of options in this thing. I'll try not to put it too close so it doesn't start flashing on the screen. But you can change the layouts. There's multiple gauges, so you could click layouts, which this thing is not very sensitive. And you can change the items that you're showing depending on how many things you're displaying. You can display, I believe it's like 8 to 10 things on the screen at one time. But like I said, the screen is not very like touch friendly. It's not like your phone where you're scrolling through your phone and everything, you barely tap it and it goes through. But there's a lot of things that you can do on this screen as far as changing things, changing the brightness of the screen. You can clear tunes out. You can put it in demo mode, which I don't know why you'd want to. You can change your TAC RPM. So basically, like mine is 8,000 on the dash, so I put 8,000 in the KTuner so it matches my dash. And then you have your data login. So data login, you can record data login and it will save data login as you're doing it. So if you're trying to test your car out, see your parameters, see what's working, see what's not working, see how your air fuel ratios, all that stuff, if you're trying to data log and see how it's doing, you can do it through the KTuner. Or if you have, like, say, a tuner with you and your dyno in your car, they could have this program pulled up and pretty much everything that the KTuner monitors is in here. So then you can make changes in here if you have a custom tune to certain things that might affect how your car's running or how it's performing while you're trying to see how it does with the tune or changing the tune. So there's a lot you can do with this KTuner app, and it's a huge world of a difference as far as how your car performs. So I'll tell you this: uploading stage 1, erasing the factory settings in this car and uploading stage 1, the car idles smoother. So I used to have like the faint idle bounce, like very minimal, but it was enough to notice, and I have none of that now. Like this thing idles so smooth. It's a little quieter as well, and I'm not sure if that's just me thinking it's better, but the car is super quiet on first startup, and it was always pretty quiet, but it just sounds like it runs a lot better. And I could tell you right now, like, not thinking that it's better, the idle is much better. Like, there is no, I think I added 5 horsepower to this or any of that. I know for a fact that the KTuner made a huge difference. And when you do the stage 1 or stage 2 or custom tune, whatever you do, it changes the dynamics of you driving the car. So for me, when I'm driving around this car, I don't have to give it as much gas because there is no throttle lag anymore. So the CVT, it shifts so much better. When it hits boost, because obviously this tune right here, like I said, it tells you all the specs for the tunes. So we'll go back in. And right now I'm running stage 1, which is improved launch, throttle responsiveness, mid-range top end gains, and 18 PSI, and I'm running 93 octane. But every single one of those, it nailed it. Like it runs so good and so smooth. And that's without me beating up the car necessarily. But as far as what they promise comes with the, the baseline tunes from KTuner, it works flawlessly. All right, so really quick, I wanted to show you the two-step performance. If you are going to buy this new, two-step performance has one of the better deals in my opinion, because it comes with the style mounts you want. So there's a couple style mounts you can get. You have this one right here, where it's a suction cup to the window. You can mount in the corner, you can mount it in the center. And then there's other ones like the center console, which would be down here, which I didn't want that blocked, and I don't want to have to look down for the KTuner, but it does kind of take it out of the visibility of somebody looking at your car if you're leaving it in. And then you have the above the radio mount, which is another mount that seems pretty good, but to me, I like this one, and it also came with it for that $400 price tag, so that works for me. But this one can be moved anywhere on the window. So with KTuner, the cool thing about it is if you buy it through them, like I said, the standard price for this is $650. And if you buy it through two-step performance, it actually comes with a free TSP tune and 2-day shipping. So to me, that's a pretty good deal. And the thing with their TSP stage 1 tune is that it works they have a map for the SI and the non-SI. And basically, once you put all your data in here, what vehicle you have, they're going to send the tune. You have to actually click a box, I believe, too. So yeah, free tune if applicable. So then you can select which car you have. But like I said, for the same price as you can buy the basic KTuner for, that's a pretty good deal. Because like some of these tunes outside, if you already have a KTuner and you're trying to buy, say, like the two-step performance, the map performance, or the variable, I think they're around 100 to 150 bucks for the tunes. So that can really add to the price tag if you're not trying to run like a base KTuner tune, or you don't get a free one with two-step performance. And I'm not sponsored by them, obviously, because I bought mine by myself. I'm just saying, to me, it seems like that's a pretty good deal for someone that's looking to buy a brand new one in box with the upgraded tune. And the way it works is they're not loading this tune on the hardware. So what they're going to do is they're going to email to you, and then you'll still have to run through all the procedures to get to the KTune app. And then you'll have to go in and they'll send it to you in a certain format, but you'll be able to open a tune and you'll add the tune on here before you add it to your KTuner, because they email you the tune and they send it to you in like a CSV or something like that file. I'm not sure if that's the correct term or not, but anyway, you'll have to go through and you'll have to add it yourself through the KTuner app and then upload it to your KTuner. But yeah, just food for thought. You can get the KTuner with the TSP Stage 1 for the same price you buy a new one. And there's tons and tons and tons of good reviews on KTuner, and I'm sure there's tons and tons and tons of videos. I don't see too many about the FK7, but I will go ahead and keep uploading videos on the FK7, as I don't plan on getting rid of the car. I have no need or want to upgrade. And for me, like a lot of these people, I have watched a couple videos on these guys that did certain upgrades, and all of them seem to go to Type R eventually. They spend tons of money, wheels, tires, suspension, KTuner, and they end up going to the Type R. But I do not plan on doing that. I plan on riding this car out and just keeping a paid off car. So I have no need or want to buy a $40,000 or $50,000 Type R. So we're just going to keep adding to this car and having fun. And then I also like having the CVT. So I live in the DFW area, and the CVT is so much better for me to drive. I've had plenty of manual cars, and when you get stuck in traffic, the last thing I want to do is go in and out of gears shifting. So to me, the CVT works, and that's what I'm gonna stick with. All right, so now that you're finally done, your tune's loaded, and you're ready to drive your car, you should have no lights on. I do have the information light on, and that is because my key fob battery is low. But other than that, the KTuner is working perfect, and you should have all the lights on, or that were on, off now. And an important thing to note with that is that if some of the lights stay on, sometimes you have to drive the car for about 30 seconds to a minute, and driving it actually clears out the remaining codes. People have had to do that. I did not. Mine was good as soon as I uploaded the tune. But before we hit the road and start doing some driving, I'll go around the car and show you what is done to it, which is not very much. So basically, the performance of this car is basically just the car, engine intake, and the KTuner with stage 1 from KTuner uploaded. So the performance you see in this car is only from those things. I'll show you the engine real fast. The exhaust is still stock for now. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much bone stock minus an intake in stage 1. So I'll show you the engine real fast, which is dirty. So bone stock with engine intake. There's nothing else on this thing. And then if we go to the back, stock exhaust as of right now. So let's get on the road and let's see how the car performs with the stage 1 from KTuner uploaded to it. So for now, we're gonna take it slow. We're gonna stay and drive because obviously we're in a neighborhood with kids. So, and we're gonna go to some back roads with no traffic. As I said before, even the throttle response was changed dramatically uploading the tune on compared to stock. That was a huge issue, is that there was a lot of throttle lag. So we're gonna make this turn, and we're gonna pull out, start accelerating. Even just a quick pull. So according to the KTuner, that was 65% throttle, and the tires broke loose. These are still the all tires, but even 65% throttle, this thing gets up and goes, as you can see. This is a pretty crappy road, but there's no traffic really on this road. So we're going to slow down to about 50, and this is so you can see the KTuner as it's going, and then you'll be able to see the TPS, which is the second one. That's going to be the throttle percentage that I'm using. So from 50, and then a punch. So 60% throttle. Up and goes. It shifts gears flawlessly, and there is no throttle lag to this. It runs so much better. So we're kind of just cruising along now because we're in an area where there's a couple more cars. There's neighborhoods on one side. This is in drive too. It's not in sport mode right now. In a minute, we'll get to an area that's not a populated road. We'll put it in sport mode and we'll test it out in there as well. Go into sport mode. is it really hangs with the RPMs. So like even there, trying to go down, they're sitting at 3,000 RPMs. The KTuner gauge is very accurate as to where you're at. It's down to the single digit number. It's actually more accurate than your gauges that you're seeing here. So like our engine coolant temp is at 177, and as you know, like with the standard Honda, it's just a basic dummy gauge that, you know, it goes up to halfway, and then unless it starts overheating, as long as it's within a range, it's pretty much going to stay at that halfway range. So this is kind of a hilly road, but there's really no one out here. And we'll still make sure we don't go over the speed limit, but we'll do a dead stop real fast and a punch, or we can launch it. So that's 65% throttle. 0 to 60 is just so much quicker. Now we'll shift back to drive. Driving this car normal, like not trying to get on it or dog it out, it drives pretty much like the standard car with the standard factory tune. It's just more peppy and a lot easier to merge into lanes, coming on and off ramps, and hanging with traffic. In Texas, we have a lot of areas, the speed limit's 85 miles an hour. So when you're merging or getting in and out of traffic, sometimes you have people that don't drive 85, they drive 100 miles an hour, and you're just trying to get out of the way. But it makes it a lot more drivable having the stage 1 tune and throttle response. Driving normal, 35% throttle, and it kind of tailors down as your car shifts. And the drivability is just so much better. And the 1.5 turbo is already a decent motor. The main lag on the 1.5 model, like the sport hatches, is the CVT transmission, but this KTuner kind of completely transforms it in that aspect. Alright, so we switched cameras, or phones, should I say. So I'm trying to see the difference between the iPhone 13 Pro and then the 14 Pro as far as like image stabilization, because my wife is currently holding the phone. So we'll see what the difference looks like between the two. Like I said, basically right now we're just cruising around. Don't want to drive like a dick when there's traffic around or anything like that. That's not what we want to do here. So basically we're just driving around, cruising with the tune on, and then we'll jump on the highway real fast. We'll see how it is merging off the ramp, and then from there we do like a final thoughts on everything on the video. But hopefully that picture is a little bit better, because like I said, we don't have a holder that goes to the seat to hold the phone. About the holder for the KTuner, the mount, is I'll probably mount it lower, because when it's holding the KTuner up, it kind of bounces around a lot. So I think maybe I'll mount it lower and it's resting on the dash. It'll clear that view a little bit, and then two, it won't bounce around as much. So that's probably one change I'll make. Jump on the ramp and merge on the highway. We're gonna slow down. It's just a lot of traffic like everywhere in Fort Worth. So from here, we're probably going to go ahead and stop the driving portion, because there's definitely a lot of traffic, and it's not the right time to do anything like that, any pulls. So one of the next few upcoming videos, we'll probably do a track night, just see what it runs. That'll also give us an idea of what we need to change, if we want to change anything. But from here, that's going to be the end of the driving portion, and then I'll give my final thoughts on everything, and that'll be the end. All right, so for final thoughts after the drive, and also what my plan is for the future of this car, I'll jump into the final thoughts first, of course, for the KTuner. So as I said before, idling wise, this thing runs perfect. So it idles really, really steady, as you can see. and I have the idle up here as well. KTuner is very, very accurate as far as the gauge readings and the performance of the car, as you can see. And that was very, very, honestly, that was pretty light because of the areas, you know, we were driving in, and everything was below the posted speed limits, of course. But the car drives exceptionally well and has great performance. The first gear, the takeoff, is night and day. Honestly, when you're talking about stock to stage 1 from KTuner. So I'd be interested to try after I had this for a while and I drove it around. Try the TSP or even the variable to see the differences and see what the performance is. But before I get that route, I'd really like to get a couple more modifications on here and also get some track time and possibly a dyno. So that way I can dyno it off KTuner stage 1 and then a TSP or variable next. So to me that makes sense, because you'd want a baseline for each one, and then I could compare the KTuner stage 1 to the TSP or variable. As far as modifications that I plan on getting for the rest of this car, I do plan on getting a Greddy exhaust, and I've had Greddy before on my M1 SI, and my daughter has the EK. I'm about to put a Greddy exhaust on hers, and I've always had the SP2, which is, it's a little bit louder than stock, but it's not overly annoying. I'm at the age now where I don't want annoying. So if I'm cruising along, I want to be able to have a conversation. I don't want a droning sound in the car. So that's why I'm looking at the SP2. I've seen quite a few videos of the DDR, which is the straight pipe version, and that seems pretty cool. I like it, but like I said, living in a neighborhood, being a little bit older, I really don't want to have, you know, I remote start my car in the morning before I go to work, so I really don't want to have to hear DDR, you know, firing up in the morning at 5 o'clock when I'm getting ready to go to work. But the Greddy SP2 is probably what I'm going to do. And then from there, wheels and tires. Been looking at the Advin 1 wheels and an 18-inch. And possibly doing like a Type R wheel and tire. Not too sure on that yet. I really don't want to put a bunch of Type R parts on a car that's not a Type R. And they really want a lot of money for those Type R wheels, even off the newer Civics, even though they're floating around everywhere. I mean, they want $800 to $1,000, and you can buy a wheel and tire package, you know, for $1,200. I would change my mind on that if I could find a set of Volt TE37s, but I haven't even seen any of them on Marketplace. And for the most part, I'm trying to buy a lot of the parts that I can, as long as they're in good condition, because a lot of people run these parts for a couple thousand miles and they trade in their car or whatever. So if I can find it on Marketplace and I can save a couple $100, which I've done so far. With the intake, I got it for $150. Then I sold the stock air box and the air filter for $150, so I paid nothing. And then the KTuner I paid $400 for. I'm using the free KTuner Stage 1 tune, so basically $400 out the door. I saved about $250 versus buying new. And so far this has paid off doing it that way. But depending on how everything is, I'm not going to buy a beat up exhaust or something that's old and tore up. So if I can find a good deal on an SP2 used, someone's just getting rid of their car and it's in great shape, then I have no problem, you know, going that route. But if I have to, I'll pay the $600 and buy one brand new, because to me that's not too bad for a high quality exhaust. Aside from that, I guess the next thing that I know I want to do is probably a brake package, like a cross-drilled rotor or something like that. Just because these Civics already kind of have like poor braking, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure mine are original and I'm at 34,000 miles, so that could be just from the car having age and, you know, some wear on the brakes. But if I'm gonna replace it, I'm gonna replace it with something good, obviously. So that is gonna be in the future list, is the brake kits. And then one of the last things that I'm thinking of right now, because that's kind of the order I want to go, is going to be suspension, and that's probably going to be brand new, because I don't want somebody's used eBay or, you know, some junk suspension. I've done that when I was younger, had eBay suspension, and some of it was good, some of it was bad, but I don't need to feel like I'm riding in a shopping cart going down the road. So suspension is something that we definitely will not hold back on cost. We will spend the money, however that is, to get them. And then from there, you know, I'm sure some things will change, and I'll add parts as well. So Cusco strut bar is one that's in my shopping cart right now. And then from there, like I said, along the way, I want to do some dyno tunes, some dyno runs, and then also do some track runs. So I don't want to keep dumping parts and stuff like that, and then I do everything that I ever want to do to this car, and I take it to the track for the first time and I run whatever. I kind of want to see the progress and how everything works, adding the parts, adding good quality parts, and changing the tune with the parts. It's kind of how I want to do it for this car. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope it helped. I know the KTuner, there's a lot of videos on the instructions and a lot of information from KTuner themselves, but sometimes it helps to see somebody do a video explaining the walkthrough and the issues they had. Important thing to note, I didn't say this earlier in the video, but adding KTuner to your car will void your warranty. Will it affect you trading it in? No, because you'll flash it back to stock, and how are they going to know unless they actually plug it in? So if you trade in your car somewhere else, the odds are lots of people have done it so far. They've pulled the tuners off, they use it on the next car or whatever, and your car's just flashed back to stock, so they don't know. The only way they would know is if Honda plugged it in, they were trying to do an update, they would see it. But it will void your warranty if you still have one. If you don't care about the warranty, which I didn't, then by all means go ahead and throw it in and erase your factory tune and add this one. As far as emissions, if you live in an emissions place like I do, there's quite a few people around here that are running these on SIs, and they have passed emissions, so no worries with that. They were basically doing either stage 1 or stage 0 or a custom tune similar to stage 1, and they passed emissions. And here they don't plug in your car, they do like a tailpipe test or whatever, and then that's pretty much it. So if you're in a place like California where they probably plug in your car and try to look at everything, I don't know how that system works, that process works, but you probably will fail emissions. But the good thing with KTuner is you could always flash it back to factory, go get your emissions done, and then flash it back if you needed to. This is rated as an off-road product. So for certain areas, that's really going to matter. Like I said, for your Californias, and then whatever other place is super strict on emissions. But as far as anything else, when you're doing a basic tune like stage 1, it's a very safe product. And it's very safe on your car. You could blow up your car driving it crazy in stock. So adding stage 1 is not really going to make your car blow up, unless you did something wrong along the way, or you changed some things and then, you know, your car's not running right, like if your ratios aren't right, you'll probably run into issues at that point. But to wrap this whole thing up, I 100% think that KTuner is worth it. I made a video the day I got it, which was yesterday, and I was like, hey, this should be your first modification you do to your car. And I still stand by that, because you can spend a lot of money on parts. You can dump a lot of money. You can spend $350 on an intake. You can spend $700 on an exhaust, and you know you're gonna get 5 to 8 horsepower out of that. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. But with this is actual tuning software. So regardless of if your car's stock with just a KTuner, you're gonna gain the power out of this. When you go to stage 1 or you go to stage 2, which you can run stage 1, 2, and 3 with nothing on your car. You can have factory everything, factory exhaust, factory intake, factory turbo, everything, and you can run that tune on this car and gain, I mean, you're talking like 5 times the amount of power over getting like basic bolt-ons and stuff like that. So I still stand by that. I feel like this is the best first mod that you could do, modification you can do to your car. It sounds weird saying mod, but it is the best first modification that you can do to your car. Is it a little pricey? Yes and no. Like I said, you can spend a lot of money on bolt-ons and get nowhere. So for $650 brand new, some places include a $150 tune with that for free. That's a hell of a deal. And like I said, used, just look, they're on Marketplace, they're on eBay. I found them for about $550 range, so you're saving $100 there. But on Marketplace, you know, negotiate with people. This guy that I bought it off of was a cool guy. He had completely left the car scene, and he had this listed for $550. I was like, I just hit him up. He had it on there for 3 or 4 weeks. I wasn't even sure if he still had it, but I just hit him up and I was like, hey, would you mind doing $400? And he was like, yeah, come get it. So I mean, just talk to people. A lot of people just want to get some of the money back with this. And like I said in my other video, if you watch that one and you're on this one and you're still watching this one, because this is a pretty long video, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of benefits to KTuner, as well as like the after sale of your vehicle, right? So when you get rid of your vehicle or you sell it, you can flash it back to stock. You can pull all your modifications off. A lot of the modifications won't probably go in your next car, but if you're sticking with a Honda, say you're going from a 10th gen to an 11th gen, this KTuner will work on that. So basically you'll just have to unlock it from the car, lock it to the new car, and then in KTuner you can select the tunes for the newer car. So there's always the option of moving this over. Like I said, this product is universal. The tunes are specific to your car, and the tunes are dictated by whatever you upload to your car. So if you lock this to an Accord, which that's what it was locked to prior to this, it was a all motor naturally aspirated Accord, and he unlocked it from the car. I locked it to mine, and I completely changed the tunes on the KTuner to fit the Civic. So it's an awesome product. It's universal. And then if you got a car that was completely outside of that realm of Hondas and Acuras, then you could always just sell it. And if you paid $500 for a used one, you could probably sell for $500 again. You know, if you paid $650, that's a given. You're probably going to lose a little bit of value, but you're going to gain most of that back, honestly. So like I said, a lot of the parts you buy for cars are specific to that car. KTuner is like a universal product, and as long as it's on that list on KTuner, which I showed you the list for this car, like it showed all the ECU numbers, and they have every make and model that this will work for on that car. And that's the cool thing about the version 2. So with the version 2 as well, the great thing about it is you can physically see all your stats on your car. So I like the ability to see and change the parameters of what I'm looking at. With the version 1, it basically plugs into your OBD2 sensor, and then from there you have no visibility unless you're plugging in to your laptop and all the other stuff. But I personally would rather have this on my dash telling me everything is good and I can monitor it. I typically don't drive this car like that every day, spirited driving. Typically it's driving me to work and back, and occasionally there'll be some weekend meetups and stuff like that, or go to the track, and that's where we'll do the real driving. So basically the video you watched, I told you how to install the KTuner, how to upload the tunes, registration for the KTuner. I gave you brief spill on buying KTuner, you know, buying an unlock KTuner versus buying a brand new one. And then I showed you the driving videos, which was a very basic driving videos, just nothing too crazy, because like I said, we'll save that for the track. And then I gave you I told you how you can move it to different cars, and how it avoids warranty and all the other stuff. So like I said, I just hope this video helps somebody. I hope that it that if you're looking for, you know, something on KTuner, that this video gives to you. If you have an FK7 Civic, a 10th gen Sport like I do, then I hope this video gave you some great information. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below, and I will always answer comments and help. And thank you for watching. I know it's a long video, so if you made it to this point, thank you.